just kind of started talking, and I just started listening. His name was Gene. He'd been retired for 7.5 years. He moved up from Woodstock, Illinois to Minocqua. He is on his second marriage. He married a retired school teacher. They have 7 grandchildren, and they live on Lake Minocqua. But even though they live on Lake Minocqua, he's not a fisherman at all. But they're on Lake Minocqua because that was his wife's home when he married her. And the grandchildren come up often, and they like to swim. And his hobby is watching eagles, and he spends a lot of time at St. Matthias as a volunteer. In fact, he's the lead volunteer. He puts in about 40 hours a week just volunteering for St. Matthias, and he has a struggle. Him and his wife were struggling, and what they were struggling with was their pet dog, 17 years old, lap dog, that was incontinent now. And it was time to put the dog down. And if you've ever done that is tough. So we talked a little bit about that. By the time that truck drove into our driveway, I had a pretty good sense of this man and some of the issues he was struggling with, specifically the dog issue. Now, how did that happen? Well, it happened because I kept the focus on him. Kept the focus on him. And I feel that after we went back and I got out of his truck and said goodbye to him, I think Gene felt that here was a guy who really kind of connected with him. Because he asked a few questions, and more importantly, he listened. It's hard to connect with people. You know that. It's hard to connect with people. And some people try their best to connect through texts and emails and keeping your Facebook current. That might be one way. But the best way is face-to-face. Some people tell me all the time, I just can't connect with that son. I just can't connect with that daughter. I just can't connect with my sister or my brother. I can't connect with my boss at work or with the team that I'm supposed to be on. Well, when people tell me that they cannot connect, one of the very first things I ask them is how much time are you in their presence? And when you're in their presence, are you keeping your antenna up? Are you paying attention to the nonverbal signals that they're sending you? Maybe they're sending you all kinds of nonverbal signals that they're in trouble, and you're just so caught up in your world, you don't even pick it up. Or maybe you're just not spending hardly any time at all with them. If you're not spending time with them, you're not going to probably pick up on those signals. And then the second question I ask is, are you listening? Are you listening? Or are you just keeping the focus on yourself? If you can't connect with someone, ask yourself those questions. Am I acknowledging them? Am I engaging them? And it's really important for us as Christians to be able to connect with others. Why? Well, because as Paul said in the scripture that I read for you, we're to be about a lot of things as Christians. We're to be carrying each other's burdens, said Paul. We're to be assisting each other. We're to be interacting with others in a humble way. We're to be, according to Paul, sowing godly seeds born of the Spirit. We won't be able to do any of that if we can't first connect. So connecting. It's important. It begins with first acknowledging it. And it continues as we engage them. And as that happens, we connect.